Okay, let's talk about what's happening in one of the world's most critical waterways, because a really high-stakes standoff is brewing. We're going to break down the strategy behind this gamble, and it's a big one that could have huge consequences for everyone. And boom, the tension just went through the roof with this incredibly direct message from President Trump. I mean, this isn't your typical diplomatic language, not even close. It's a clear, unmistakable military threat, and it sets a really urgent tone right from the get-go. But beyond all the military talk, what's really at stake here? To understand that, we've got to zoom out a little and look at the geography, look at the economics that make this one tiny strip of water so incredibly important to the entire world. And this is the place, the Strait of Hormuz. It's a super narrow channel, but you can think of it as a super highway for a massive chunk of the world's oil. And let me be clear, calling it a critical choke point isn't an exaggeration. The entire global economy feels it when things go wrong here. So to really get a sense of just how big the disruption is, we need to know what normal looks like. And normally, you'd see between 120 and 150 ships passing through this strait every single day, a constant flowing river of global commerce. But look at the situation now. That traffic has just plummeted to about 12 ships a day. 12! That's a drop of over 90%. That one number pretty much tells you everything you need to know about how severe this has become. So yeah, this vital economic artery is basically being squeezed shut. The flow of trade has slowed to a trickle, and you can just feel the pressure building with every single day that passes. And here's the view from the other side. Iran's supreme leader says they're entering a new era in how the strait is managed. What they're really doing is asserting control over an international waterway and basically telling the world, this is the new reality, get used to it. So, with Iran making these bold claims and traffic grinding to a halt, what's the U.S. strategy? How is the administration trying to navigate this incredibly delicate and, frankly, dangerous situation? Well, analysts are calling the U.S. response a two-lever strategy. It's pretty straightforward. On one hand, you have hard power. That's the very real and very visible threat of military force. But on the other hand, you have open hands, which is a stated willingness to talk and find a diplomatic way out of this. And you want to see that hard power lever in action? Here's a perfect example. After reports came out that Iran was charging fees to tankers, President Trump put out this blunt warning on Truth Social. It's direct, it's a command, and it leaves zero room for misunderstanding. But at the exact same time, the administration is pulling that other lever. Here's Vice President Vance signaling that the door for negotiation is wide open. This is that open hands approach, clear as day. You see, the real challenge isn't just having these two levers, it's knowing how to use them together. The entire strategy really hinges on finding that perfect balance between the threat and the offer to achieve what the administration is calling victory. So what does that victory actually look like? Well, the administration has laid out 4 very specific goals. Number 1, stop Iran's hostile efforts in general. 2, stop them from producing missiles in the first place. 3, destroy their ability to even fire them. And the big one, 4, take away their ability to build nuclear weapons for good. These are some seriously ambitious objectives. Of course, having clear goals doesn't make getting there any easier. The reality on the ground is way more like a complicated chessboard, with a ton of different players and competing interests that make every single move tricky. And that chessboard is crowded. You've got European allies who are pretty hesitant to get involved. You have China, which has a massive stake here. They buy 90% of Iran's oil. And all of this is happening while proxy wars are still being fought with groups like Hezbollah. It's an incredibly messy strategic picture. And maybe the biggest complication of all is an internal one. After all the action the U.S. has taken against Iran's leadership, a really critical question has popped up. Even if the U.S. wants to negotiate, who exactly are they supposed to talk to? According to the source material, over 1,000 leaders in Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, have been taken out. This has created what some analysts are calling a rump regime. Basically, the leadership has been so hollowed out, it raises real doubts about whether anyone who's left has the actual authority to make a deal, let alone make sure it gets enforced. And this brings us right back to the immense pressure being applied. This final, stark message from the president basically frames the very survival of Iran's remaining leaders as the reason to negotiate. It's the ultimate use of that hard power lever. So we're left with this fundamental question. We have two very different levers: the overwhelming threat of military force and the open hand of diplomacy. In this high-stakes standoff, which one is finally going to be the one that breaks the deadlock?